Hey, this is Gerry Visca, the publisher of Defyeneurs, and welcome to the new issue, the Top 50 Health and Wellness Tips. And we are super excited about the power and the energy of this publication and the lineup of world-class experts that I'm truly inspired to shine a light on. This is an exciting live interview that we include in each issue of Defyeneurs, connected to each profile. So get ready, because we are shooting over to White Rock, BC, with one of the most extraordinary authors that I've seen, Nathalie Plamondon-Thomas. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning, Gerry.
Good morning, Nathalie. I'm really excited, as you know, to really get into this live interview with you. And I just love the work that you're doing. I love the whole focus on how you're creating neural pathways, and I just love the whole DNA life coaching. And I just want to get into a quote that you share here with listeners. It goes like this: I help people discover and access the astonishing potential they didn't even know that they had within themselves. I just love that, and I'm so excited for listeners to get access to your incredible wisdom. So, Nathalie, share with us, why have you chosen to serve others through health and wellness?
It's a very good question, and I thought about that myself. Why? And it's always been second nature for me, and I'll tell you a bit about my background, which will explain mostly where I'm from. Everybody's got that story from rags to riches, and then they went through a tough time, they turned their life around, and then they succeeded finally, and then they're the person that they are today. Well, this couldn't be further away from the truth for me, because I have the total opposite story. I'm from a very positive, loving, caring environment. My parents were amazing. They were kind of these positive freaks, in the 70s that they had signs everywhere in the house saying, "You can do it, you're amazing, you're always going to miss 100% of the shots that you won't take, and you can do this." Like, there were these people that would push you and install in you that braveness and that way of making you think you can do anything. On Sunday mornings with my brother, they would force us to sit in the living room and listen to motivational tapes. So that's kind of giving you the picture of the type of upbringing that I had. So at night, they would tell us these bedtime stories, but no Disneyland kind of stuff. It was motivational stories. And my favorite story was that story about the old man on the beach that was throwing away starfishes back in the water. And there's that little girl that comes and says, "Hey, sir, what are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I have to throw back the starfishes in the water because otherwise they're going to die. They're going to dry on the beach." And the little girl looked at the beach and she said, "Yeah, but sir, there's hundreds of them. You can't save them all. What difference is it going to make?" And then the old man took one starfish and he showed the little girl and he said, "Well, for this particular starfish, it makes the whole world of difference." So that was my favorite story. And as a very young girl, I proclaimed that in life, when I grow up, I'm going to be a starfish savior. So that was kind of my calling. Even at school, I had this little corner where at recess, my friends would come and tell me their problems. Like, it was just that. It was just that way of me trying to save everybody. So in the years, I've tried to find different platforms to help people. Really, I've constantly just been genuinely interested in saving all the starfishes of this world.
I love that. You are a starfish, Nathalie. I just love, and as we get into this interview, I just love your storytelling abilities and your analogies. It's just, you're fantastic, and you've authored 3 extraordinary books, and I love that you share how you grew up in a very positive environment, and how your parents really wrapped around you like that. I just think that's really extraordinary, and it's obviously shaped you. I want to get a bit into your work. Your work is very profound to me. There's a lot of just inspired intelligence, and there's a quote you share here in your profile goes like this. I help them recreate new neural pathways inside their brains, which changes their internal dialogue and allow them to control their own thoughts. So share with us, I want to get into a little bit of depth on your work and how you're inspiring others through health and wellness, your platforms and your vehicle. Tell us about that.
So how has been progressing and changing throughout the years. I have a fitness background, so I've been teaching in the fitness industry for over 28 years, personal trainer, nutrition and wellness specialist, and all these years I was slowly discovering that when I would observe my clients that were mainly successful, it was not because I could teach them a better burpees or a better way of squatting, or because I was giving my nutrition clients a better kale salad recipe. The reason why they were more successful was mainly because they were starting to think differently. They were starting to trust themselves, and they were stopping the advice seeking, and they were trusting themselves, and they were starting to mentally change and feel like fitness and nutrition was a part of their life. It's not what they were doing, it's what they were thinking. So about 8 years ago, I discovered NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is the science to reprogram your own brain. And as I grew up in that way of living anyway, when I did the practitioner course, I looked at it, and people in the room were saying, hey, this is very new, it's interesting. And I was looking at people, I was like, yeah, but isn't that how we think? Like, isn't that your normal? And people were like, no, this is new. This is, and it dawned on me, this is what I've been doing all my life. And now I'm discovering the science, and I'm putting words and scientific terms to call all the processes that I've been just using naturally in my life. Well, there's actually specific techniques and things we can do in order to teach people how to program their brain to be this way. Because if your body was a robot and your brain was the computer, there's a way that you can actually type in exactly what it is that you want in your software so that the robot will execute everything that you want, and that's NLP. So it's really cool how all my life I had been trying to inspire people until I realized I can't really do anything to inspire nobody, really. I'm just me. I'm just one person. People need to be inspired from within. Nobody will follow any advice from no one. Gerry, have you ever had a friend that would tell you, hey, I think I'm going to do this? And then you look at them and you're like, dude, I've been telling you this for 3 months. Everybody's been telling you this. But honestly, nobody listens to other people. They need to generate the idea themselves. And if the light bulb comes in their head and pops up, then they're like, I just got an idea. And then it's going to work. So I don't even with my one-on-one coaching, I don't tell nobody what to do ever. I just help them find out that they have all the answers they need for anything in life.
I love it. I love how your work you've made it very accessible. Like, you've taken some really scientific approaches, but yet you've made it, you've chunked it down in a way that anybody can access that. And I can't tell you how much I admire what you're doing. Like, it's phenomenal to me, the science and the reprogramming of the brain, and I love how you use specific techniques. I want to stay with a bit of your type of clientele. First of all, is it open to anybody, Nathalie, or is there a specific kind of clientele that you typically attract?
Honestly, it is open to everybody. Okay. If you have a brain, you are a typical client for me, and more likely everybody does.
I was going to say that people don't have brains. What do you do with those ones?
Exactly. I guess most people show up in my office for a different reason than the reason that they leave my office. So people come in my office and they sometimes they want to lose weight. They know my fitness background. Sometimes they just want to find a boyfriend. Sometimes they want to advance their career. I do a lot of allergy release. I do a lot of trauma release. People don't need to live with past experience that would create some unconscious response. And it's interesting because people ask me, wow, all this stuff that you do, and somehow people misconceive the life coach with the psychiatrist or the psychologist, which are doing a very different job, really. People don't come in my office, they don't lay down and they don't cry and live through past negative experience. It's not the way it works. It's all moving forward, and it's all in a very positive environment where we are programming what we want, not what we don't want. So in the process that I use, I call it the DNA system. It's in 3 big steps. So the first step is always to decide what it is that you want. So everybody's heard about the vision boards, about the eliciting your positive outcome, or the SMART goals, or people do that, and that's in probably every self-help book out there, and everybody talks about this. So of course, we have to do this first step. I often like to use the analogy of house renovation. So let's say that you want to do renovation in your homes. First, you have to decide, what are you going to do? Are you going to renovate your kitchen, your bathroom, your living room? Let's decide you are going to do your kitchen. This is what's going to have the most impact in your life. You really want to do your kitchen. So you decide, I want these cupboards. I want that hardwood floor. I want an island. I want this countertop, those taps, those hardware. So you decide everything that you want with moving towards a positive outcome, which means you're not going to tell the contractor, I would like you to paint my kitchen not blue, because you don't really know what you're going to get. So people are not sitting in my office saying, I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be stressed anymore. I don't want to rush around like crazy. I don't want to miss my children's birthday parties because I'm working. People, instead of telling me what they don't want, we focus on what they want. So this is the first step. But most self-help programs may stop there, or people don't know that there are 2 other steps that are very important, or they go right to the third step. They try to take all that new plan, the new floor plan, the new cupboards, and they try to install that over top of the old cupboards in their kitchen. Well, it's not going to work, because you have to remove the old crap before you can install some new ones. So there's a cleaning process. You have to do the demolishing segment of this whole system. So you have to remove your cupboard, remove the hardwood floor, gut everything out, and then once you're clear of all your negative belief, your negative emotion, everything that's in the way, all the old traumas and old stuff that's in the way, then you can install, and which is the third step, you can install the new behavior and say, okay, whenever I'm sitting down at night, this is my downfall, I'm watching TV, at the commercial, I always want to get up and I want to go grab something to eat. So you install a new behavior for what it is that you wanted to do. So when your brain recognizes a trigger and it says, okay, when I'm sitting down, this is the trigger. This is when I feel like I'm the worst in my bad habit. So I install a new behavior in the brain, and this is what you want to do instead. You get up and then you go make a pot of tea or whatever it is that you want as your alternate behavior. So this is how the whole process works. And people even ask me why I wrote a book on losing weight, because my latest book, Think Yourself Thin, is actually very exciting. It's #1 bestseller on Amazon, which is super exciting. It can be adapted to a lot of different problems in life. And people ask me, well, Nathalie, you do life-changing stuff. Why did you write a book on on losing weight, it's not that important in life because I do work with children. I do work with women that had very dramatic upbringing. I really trauma. So one of my latest clients, God bless her, she grew up in an area in India where it was okay for girls to be raped every day. So can you imagine that even now in her 50s, she still has some unconscious reaction every time she would have sexual relations, obviously, because it goes way back until she was 14 years old. She had been abused. So we can change the pathways in the brain so that your brain doesn't have access to this negative stuff anymore, and you can move on. You can release all the negative emotions and all the past trauma in order to now having a great sexual life with her husband, which she loves dearly, and he's an amazing man. So it's life-changing stuff. And people say, well, you release allergies. My client that was allergic to cat is not anymore. One lady was trying to become pregnant, and they had been trying with her husband for a year and a half. There was something in her brain that was keeping her from becoming pregnant, and now she has even 3 children. So it's life-changing stuff, and I'm not really doing much myself. I just make them realize that they have everything that they need in order to become the best that they can be. So that book that I wrote on losing weight is mainly because, number one, the society has a problem, and if people start to eat better and exercise, and if they are not worried so much all the time about what they look like and how much they weigh, I feel that if people go to the next step, then they will start realizing whatever that they have inside of them. Losing weight is not really important to me. It's not important in life. However, it is usually the reason why people think at a first glance that it's worthwhile hiring a life coach. So they would step in my office because they want to lose weight. But as soon as they leave, they realize that we've worked on everything but losing weight because that was not important. And then once they're cleared of all the other stuff, they start losing weight naturally. We don't even talk about that in my sessions, really.
I love it. I love this DNA system. I love how you've, broken it down to 3 parts and how you kick it off, what you decide most. But I really like how you're going deeper. You're going deeper than typical self-help books, and congratulations again on Think Yourself Thin. I think you can actually apply, your techniques to all areas of your life, and I think you're proving that. So it's just fantastic. I want to get into, there's another quote that you share here, which I really love, and it goes like this: I'm trying to make people become their best self so we can all make a difference together. And there's no question that your genius is truly helping people discover that and self-discover that. What's the bigger difference, Nathalie, that you wish to make in the world?
Well, that's interesting because myself, I'm just one person, so I don't know. Like the Starfish Savior, I can only make a difference for one person at a time. And I feel that if I make a difference for one person, maybe they will turn around and make a difference for somebody else, and then it's going to be exponential that everybody can be inspired and turn around and teach whatever it is that they've learned to people around them. So all together we can make a difference. Now, what the main thing that's important for people to learn is they have everything they need inside. Like, there's so much information on the web. There's books. There's millions of motivational speakers. There's so many ways of getting inspired, which is your food for your brain every day, which is great. Initially, though, it's not about seeking help outside. It's about trusting and knowing that you have everything you need inside. So, how we think with our logical brain. So our logical mind can handle about 9 things at the time. So, between 5 and 9, really. So we're not that. It's great for multitasking. So you could probably, as you're listening to this recording, you can probably. Maybe you're driving at the same time. Maybe you can think about what you're going to have for dinner. You can probably, maybe at the same time, you can be in the morning getting dressed, listening to this. Whatever it is that you're doing at the same time, you can do 5 to 9 things at the time. It's pretty restricted, and that logical mind is that voice inside your head. Unfortunately, whatever it's thinking, usually it's 40%. Worrying about things that will never happen. So we use our logical mind to worry about stuff that more likely will never happen. 40% of the things we worry about will never happen. It's like, let's say you're buying a house. You're putting a 40% down payment. Let's say that your house is $100,000, very cheap little condo, I guess. You're going to put a 40% down payment, and you will never own that house. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of your time. Now, another big percentage of what you worry about has already happened. It's too late. It's past. Get over it. Move on. Because there's no point rethinking about the things that has already happened. Instead, you can channel all this energy in order to serve you. So you want to have access to your unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is in your deeper structure. You know that 90% of the brain that we don't use. The brain is the most complex structure in the universe. It's awesome, everything that it can do. And if you connect with your unconscious mind, if you think with your unconscious mind, instead of 7 things at the time in average, you can access 2.3 million pieces of information every second. This is huge. This is much better. So using your unconscious mind, some say it records everything. You delete some stuff. You distort some stuff. You make it work for your own beliefs, your own value, what's important to you. And yet it is there, all that information. As you're driving to work, all the signs that you've seen, even if you were not reading any of the sign as you were driving, your brain was seeing them, understanding them, recording them. That pair of scissors that you've lost, your unconscious mind knows exactly where it is because somehow it saw it somewhere. I remember a time I was at in Ontario, actually. I was at the Toronto airport waiting for my flight, and I went through security. I'm just waiting at the gate. It's time to board, and I've lost my Nexus card. So I'm panicking, and I have my boarding pass, but I don't find my Nexus card. So I frantically starting to open my purse and go through everything. And then I thought, wait a minute, I'm just panicking now, thinking with my logical mind. I should calm down and ask my unconscious mind because I had it in my hand to cross through security. I'm the one that put it somewhere. I was there. I know. But I can't have access to it right now because I'm panicking. So I just sat down, and first thought that came to my head is, I have to ask my unconscious mind where it is. And I thought, oh, the Shoeshine Guy. So I ran because I had my boots shined. So I went back to the Shoeshine Guy, and as he was seeing me walking towards him, reached for his pocket in his shirt, took my Nexus card. He said, I knew you would get back for this. You would come back for it. I gave him $20. I was so excited. And then I ran back to my gate, and I boarded my flight. Because you always know you were there. Same with any advice. People ask me all the time, what should I do? I don't know what you should do. You know, though. You were there all your life. You have all the pieces of information you need. You know. I don't. But you do know. So everybody has so much information inside themselves. Everybody has this power and this ability to be their best all the time. You know, all the, oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have done that. Why didn't I think about this? Yeah, exactly. Why didn't you think about that? You are thinking about it now. It means you did have the answer. Why is that? Well, because there's techniques in order to have access to this astonishing amount and trust that you have access to all this power inside yourself. And you do. Everybody does. Everybody does.
I love it. I love it. I love, these are great techniques, these everyday techniques with Nathalie. Like, I love your energy, and they're so helpful, these insights. There's so much that, listeners will get. I really, truly believe that you're making a difference by creating and stimulating this ripple effect, and, we can feel it. So my final question for you, Nathalie, it's a legacy question, and I want to bring it back to, you're really influenced, such a wonderful influence from your family. Years from now, when you and I are no longer here, those closest to you, I just want you to think about those closest to you in your life. What will they say about Nathalie? How did she live her life?
Interesting. Really, that is not important to me because of the business model that I am in. When we work deeply in the brain like I do, people don't even remember how they used to feel. So honestly, they leave my office and not only they feel better, they feel great. They don't even remember how they used to feel, and they don't remember that they felt that way. So it's not a very good business model for me, because at the end of the day, I didn't do anything. I just asked them the right question. They come up with the idea, and once we're done, they leave my office and they don't remember that they used to feel bad. So even if I don't brag. I don't tell them, see how I made you feel. I tell them, see how you made yourself feel, really. So they don't remember. If somebody broke their legs and then they come in and you fix it, if you ask them, so how's your leg? They say, oh, my leg is much better because, it was broken and now it's fixed. Well, in my line of work, when they leave my office, if I say, so how's your leg now? Well, what leg? Well, did I have a problem with my leg? I didn't. No, I'm fine. Like, what are you talking about? Because people don't even remember that they don't know. It's really cool stuff. So if they don't remember that I did anything really for them, because now they think, and they're right, they have everything that they need themselves, how are they even going to remember me? Really? So I guess there's a saying that says, you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. Well, maybe one thing I could be remembered for is the person that made them drink. That could be one thing that people would remember. And yet, it was their idea to drink, so they got thirsty somehow.
As always, you've made me thirsty, Nathalie. I love it. I call this profile New Neural Pathways. It's on pages 6 and 7 of the new issue of Defyeneurs, Top 50 Health and Wellness Tips. Nathalie Plamondon-Thomas from White Rock, BC. I just love your energy. You're truly a difference maker, and I'm just so honored to shine a light on you. And thank you for sharing your amazing gifts with the world. We're just so honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerry.